a father to the fatherless,
and a defender of widows.
His garden, his holy dwelling.
God sets the lonely in families.
He leads out the prisoners with singing.
Ever since the Jungle School started, it's always been their dream, especially teachers, for the kids to experience going to the city, seeing the world outside the jungles. One of the reasons why kids are getting married early, some of them are growing up with very low literacy rate, some of them even are working at very young age just to survive, is because their mentality is really just focused in the jungles. They grow up thinking that the world is just here in the mountains.
So one of the things I've had to get used to, working with the Palawanos, the young people especially, is their lack of exposure to the world around them. A lot of them have been raised in the mountains, literally like 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers from the ocean. And early on, we would take them on small field trips and we'd bring them to the ocean. It was their first time of being at the ocean. And we'd also invite their parents. So the parents come along and the students, their first comment was, "Mom, teacher, the river's too wide. We can't swim here." They'd never seen a body of water that big, even though from the mountain they can see that ocean. And they've never tasted the salt either. The river is salty. And we laugh. It's actually quite fun.
And that gives you just a little image of the experience of these kids have. It's really secluded in their own community. So when the teachers start planning to have a field trip, we start fundraising, but we realize it's a little too expensive. It's bringing almost 200 kids into the city takes a lot of planning and a lot of cost. And because field trips are really out of our budget, we decided to contact Child Impact and say, hey, we really wanted to bring their kids to the cities so they could experience the world outside of the jungles. And by the grace of God, Child Impact responded and they sent us funds to bring these kids to the city. Our main goal for this field trip is to really show the kids that there's a world outside the jungles. And those things, as limited as the city here in the island, those things that they see in the books, they've read, and the things that the teachers have described, we want them to experience it. One of the things that I really want them to experience is seeing and riding an escalator. I've always told them that in the city, there are stairs that moves up and down, and all you need to do is just stand up. And so as soon as we got there, the very first thing that I thought of is bringing these kids up and down to the escalator. It was their first time. Some of them are very scared. Some of them are skipping. Some of them are even stumbling down because it was their first time to see a stair that moves. They were so excited to the point that some of them will go up and down just to experience it. And this is just a small mall.
Things you and I wouldn't even think twice about. For them, this is new. Riding an escalator, riding a horse, all kinds of things. So it's actually a lot of fun. Just not exposing them to all the world around them, but letting them see that the world is bigger than their mountain. The world is bigger than this area. Bigger than even our island.
It's very inspiring to see kids experience something new. Imagine that experience, as simple as riding an escalator, could inspire them to explore more, to spark that spirit of exploration, expedition, to go out beyond the jungles and to pursue their dreams and to try more things around the world.
As a teacher, when you see the joy of a child, you can't replace that. They have this kind of realization. The world is not just the mountains, it's not that small. The world is vast.
That is exactly why we want this field trip. We want them to explore, to see the world beyond what they're used to. And that's exactly what it did. Some of them, it was the first time to hold a crocodile. Some of them, it was the first time to see a crocodile beyond the textbooks.
It's a joy to see them smiling while, oh, they are seeing for the first time. One of our students even said, I thought crocodiles were green because he saw in the books green. But when he arrived, black. He said, if I only see books, I might be surprised by what the outside world can show, that it's not just their world, and there's so much more to learn.
We were able to go to the malls, to ride even a small train. We were able to go to a small theme park. We were able to ride slides. Some of the teachers went zip lining. Some of them even went a little small bungee jumping. So it was an awesome opportunity to just have fun and experience new things. For years, these kids' life revolves into sustenance farming just to survive. Either getting married early, some of them just going to town, being discriminated. And sometimes some of these kids are mere just currency to be sold to marriage or to help their parents to survive. That's life in the jungles, most of the time. But to have a specific day is specifically just for them to enjoy, to eat, and to have fun, I think made them feel seen, heard, and loved. And I think it's a total game changer. The work of these schools is very important because it's not only providing education, but it's really a place for healing. It's really a place for kids to be rescued from the evils of early child marriage. It's really a place for them to find their purpose and to see a world beyond the jungles. Running schools in the jungles is very, very difficult. Number one, you have to sustain stipends for the teachers. Getting stipend is very, very difficult because the teachers also need to live. Number two, we realized that the kids, in order for them to move forward with education, they need to have proper nutrition. And some of these kids go into the school, we realize some of them are fainting, some of them are very weak. We realize they are not eating, even going to school, because of lack of food in their homes. And so we realized these things are very vital in order for schools to move forward. And we're really grateful for Child Impact's participation with these projects because not only they're providing for teachers' salary now, and so now our schools are sustainable, they're also providing food for the kids. So when the kids go to school, they are now provided with proper nutrition for them to be fueled as they study. And these are very, very important parts. That's why Child Impact's work here is very vital for the schools to move forward. In fact, recently, we've just celebrated our third commencement program. This is a program where we celebrate the finishing of the school year. We give medals, certificates that the kids are moving forward to the next level. To see the kids receive their certificate, their medals, and they're now proceeding to the next level, and hopefully next year they could go to high school. And if there's no salary and that's the only salary you can get to see the kids succeed, I'm fine with that. The amount of sacrifice that the teachers have gone through, hiking for hours, crossing rivers, sacrificing their own time. They could have gone to the city and find a better salary, but they chose to live in the jungles with these kids, seeing them not as projects, but seeing them as family.
As a missionary teacher, of course, this is a jungle school. So we hike in the dense jungle. So every time we hike, we feel quite tired, very tired. So when we arrived here at the mission school and we saw our students smiling and happy, all our tiredness disappeared. It's different, we're happy again. So it's like we're refreshed. So when you feel like you've truly, indeed, really undoubtedly connected with a student, since you were with him every day, teaching him every day, you grew to truly love him, because that's really how it is. Once you truly love somebody, it's like you really want something genuinely good to happen for them.
If many people ask, why did you stay here when the salary is higher down below? Because the primary purpose of missionary work is indeed not the salary. And what motivated and fueled us why we are here is to see the child reach the calling of the Lord for them in whatever aspect of life they are called. If they achieve that, they will be the evidence that God can work through anyone if they allow Him.
So as teachers at the Jungle School, we don't just teach them 1, 2, 3, ABC, like this and that, etc. We also teach them to see the reality of life. That they are not limited to the mountains. There are many more opportunities waiting for them. And we know that our students up there can definitely and absolutely achieve that without a doubt.
As I make supply runs to the Jungle Schools, as I transport teachers, I land at the schools and I see the kids. I see the looks in their eyes, their smiles. And I realize that these kids have dreams and they have goals. And education makes their dreams a reality. As I fly over the mountains and I look down and I see the villages that are so remote, I realize the challenge at hand is really to make education more accessible to these remote areas.
I want the children to be able to study because of the bullying in the Tagalog-speaking regions. When they come down, those people they talk about, they don't know how to write, they don't know how to read. Sometimes when they buy something, people cheat them because they don't know how to count. Because when I was a child, I also experienced being bullied by people, especially down here, who said I smelled bad, things like that. Then I didn't know how to read, didn't know how to write. Discrimination is one of the reasons why I pushed myself to study and pursue education so that I could educate myself and in the future, educate others as well. Discrimination is one of the reasons why I persevered in my studies, because I wanted to show that just because I'm Palawan doesn't mean I won't achieve anything.
It's amazing from hearing these kids say that they've been discriminated every time they go to the lowlands, that they're being told that they're smelly, they're dirty, they don't know how to read or write. Or some of them were told that they're like animals because they eat with leaves. I heard this firsthand from the kids, and it's heartbreaking. But to see these kids from being discriminated to getting their certificate that they're proceeding to the next level, and for them to gain their dignity back. And that they could say that if the people from the lowlands could do it, we could do it too. And to see them proud that they could read, they could write, they could even compete from people from the lowlands. It's such a wonderful gift.
Greetings, friends. On my last visit to the Philippines, I was able to go to these remote villages. I met many children, beautiful children, and one of them sent me a message on social media. It was a young girl, and she asked me, "Will you come back and sponsor me?" I said, "Absolutely, we will." I then sent her photo to Pastor Jasper, indicating that our family personally wanted to help this girl. I was shocked when he gave the response. He said, "Tom, this young girl was married at 12 years old. She's now 15. Her parents, her husband, will not allow her to go to school. Unfortunately, this is the reality for so many young girls in this culture. Child Impact has initiated a project to build a safe house for many girls to be able to pursue their dreams. If you would like to partner with us, you can go to childimpact.org and select Rescue a Child and then Philippines Project. Or you can call our office at 423-910-0667. Thank you for helping us bring hope to these young girls. May God bless you.